Assalamu alaikum and hello, I'm Azmat Shah from Drupak and we are into day 14 of DDCDP and theming in Drupal part 8. Today we will be studying UI Suite using one of the associated themes, DaisyUI UI Suite. So what is UI Suite? It's a suite of Drupal modules based on the initiative for UI Suite, or the design systems initiative. Actually, it comprises of a few modules like UI patterns styles, which we'll be learning about, UI patterns blocks, UI patterns layouts, and UI patterns field formatters, and UI patterns views. So all of these 5 modules will be discussed in detail in this presentation. They are very interesting modules, part of the UI suite. So let's dive in. We will start with a bit of history of design system initiative, and for those of you who are new to Drupal, an initiative is something in Drupal community which is basically some plan to build something within Drupal or in the Drupal ecosystem, decided normally at DrupalCons, and then the community follows guidelines for it and they build it and make it part of the Drupal ecosystem. So design system initiative was introduced a few years ago. That's a timeline. And what the main goal of design system was to make a lot of things which normal day-to-day theme developers do to be doable from the Drupal admin screens, so that site builders can easily take care of all those stuff which normally you get into tweak templates and do. So the main aim of design system initiative was to adopt or to build things in Drupal so that it becomes very easy for the themers doing it all from the site building perspective. So we will study a few things, and we already have known what single directory components are. So there is a module which is actually a suite of modules, a collection of modules. Now they have grouped them into one single module, and if we install it, all of the containing modules are available for us. So this is the one we will install, UI Suite. But the individual modules also, for example, one of the modules is UI patterns, the Drupal. So you can always install it individually as well, like you are not bound to install this module only as part of UI Suite. So we can go either route, either install these modules individually, or UI Suite will help us get all of these, and then we'll move on from here. But before we start what UI Suite is, we must congratulate and thank a bunch of very capable, very masterly Drupal developers from France and Germany, and these are the maintainers of UI Suite. They have worked really hard making UI Suite initiative a reality, and we all can now benefit from it. I have opened their profiles, so one by one we will check their pictures and names, and again we are thankful to them. And they also have a YouTube channel where they meet monthly, and if I go to that YouTube channel, I'm a frequent visitor of their UI Suite initiative Drupal. So this is there, and you can see I'm not lying, I'm subscribed to the channel. So they have monthly meetings, and whatever advancements they have made, they explain that in those presentations. So we have Christian and all of these great developers. So whatever knowledge I have got from these guys, I'll try to show in this presentation. I have a basic installation ready, and prior to this class I was also practicing a few things. So to save time, we'll be doing a few things rather than installing a new theme and then configuring stuff. We'll be directly working in the theme downloaded. So sorry for that. If in order to squeeze some time for the presentation, we'll be just doing things in shortcuts, but you will get the idea what we are doing. Okay, so if I come to the UI Suite module, and here in a nutshell, the single directory components are enhanced by the UI Suite module. You can say it amplifies the power of single directory components. So what is done by these? These are the main things: UI patterns, UI styles. As I said, you can install all of these modules individually also. Okay, so UI styles, let me give you an example of what UI styles module does. So if I go to the site I have right now, I have installed a separate theme, but I will switch back to the default Drupal theme, which is Olivero. If I go to the home page, so this is normal Drupal site. So if I enable, rather I already have enabled UI styles module. This one is already enabled. Okay, so in your theme file, excuse me for these extra stuff, in your enabled theme, and in real world you will have your own custom theme where you will be doing it, but for now, because as I said, I want to save some time, so I will go to the main Drupal theme which we have just enabled in core, which is Olivero. Here ideally we should be creating sub themes for it, and then we will be doing it, but for now this is not good practice. To save time, I am going to do something here in the Olivero theme. So with that module installed, what you will do is you will create a file, Olivero, name of the theme dot UI underscore styles dot yml. This is Olivero dot UI underscore styles dot yml. So here you will write something, and I have already some document from where I will copy it. This is a sample YAML configuration, and I will paste it in the olivero.ui underscore styles.yml. Clear? Okay, so for example, this is top level key in YML. The category is typography, label is font size, description is this, links if any, and by the way, this is Tailwind CSS font size documentation link. So the options are, what can you get from this? Any idea?
Font size?
These are the Tailwind CSS font sizes classes.
Yes,
Okay, but we are defining them inside the YAML file. And preview with means if you are previewing it, so give this padding to class also.
yes.
Then there is another key, you can have it anything, and these are the colors, and then these are the color classes in Tailwind CSS. So if you want to convert all of this YAML file into Tailwind related classes, so you will have to add extra keys and classes. Alright, so you will define it in the root of your theme file. The next we will come to the terminal and clear cache. And if I come to the site now, we'll go to appearance, then UI libraries, and here we have the styles. So we are on the styles library page now, and where is this information coming from? This olivero.ui_styles.yml. And as I said, ideally this should be part of your custom theme. We are doing it in the core theme, which is not a good practice, but for saving some time we are doing it. So these are the keys, top level keys, and this is the label. So font size is one category of classes, and then we have colors, which is the second category of classes, which is the or we can call it background colors also. So now what's the advantage of defining these? Because as I said, if you go to extend now and UI, so there is a module, this one, UI styles block. So what do you think this module will be doing?
So this is for styling
UI styles,
this particular block.
yeah. So this will be providing some functionality to blocks in our system pertaining to the UI styles. So you can see there are a lot of such modules, and we will, if I give you an example of UI styles views, so what does this mean? It will be giving you some styles access to the views view, but all from the graphical user interface of Drupal, from the GUI. Okay, rather than getting into your twig files, it will be providing you some functionality so that you can use those classes from the user interface. So to check this UI styles block, what it does, we'll go to structure, block layout, and maybe we are going to add a block somewhere in the content region or anywhere we want. So if I click on block, and maybe I can just click on add content block, test block, and let us have some dummy content and save and configure. Okay, so before scrolling down this page, what are your expectations? We will have something here which will give us the styles. Okay, so these are block styles, title styles, and content styles. As you know, a block comprises of the title and the content within that title normally. So what it has done is the block styles. So again, these are those two things we have defined in the UI styles. So this is, the colors are, background color is this, whatever. If it is a Tailwind CSS theme, so you would be even seeing the background colors also. So this is the, for example, I want this block to have some background color, and it will be maybe secondary, right? If I choose this, and in the typography I want font size to be something like 2XL or whatever, if this is a bootstrap theme, and I will save it. So what do you expect? The block will then have these classes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, applied. And where are these values coming from? Colors and typography, the UI styles, the YML files. So in a way you just defined the, can anybody tell me what are these YML files actually? What do these do in Drupal behind the scenes? Yes, but in Drupal there is a very powerful system called plugin API. We will be studying it in module development also. So all of these YML files, these actually are instances of those plugins. We will know about them in Drupal module development course. But for now, this UI styles is used for these classes which have been defined, and we can then have such regions. If I want to have, for example, font, maybe margins and padding, so what I will do, if I need to have just like we have colors and typography. So if I want to have margins or maybe padding, so what I will do, I will just go
You
to
have to go to the YML file and add.
yes, so we will
certain
add some
classes.
key here
Yes, sir.
for padding, and then all the classes, and they will appear there in the. Okay, so if I save this block now, and maybe in the title also we give primary content, and this is 2xl, and save the block. So what do you expect this test block to have? If you go to the markup, right now it won't be showing the code because this is not a Tailwind theme, but if you go to the markup, so hopefully there will be some classes. Where did we show that block? It's in the content region, right? So this is that block. If you go to its markup, so you can see this is the title class. You can see the Tailwind class is added here. Can you see?
Yes, sir.
And even in the this was the block one. So overall these are those classes which have been added here. So rather than the normal themer's life of pre-processing some classes or going into twig files and adding some classes, what you can do is define your classes inside UI styles and apply them to blocks anywhere. And this will be applicable to the layout builder also. So if you add any block in the layout builder, these will be available there also. Is it clear now?
Yes.
Okay, we will move forward towards using single directory components in UI libraries, and at any given time, if your theme has components, the components folder you have created, so these will be available to the component in the components link here. How many of you know about DaisyUI? We discussed it in our previous lecture, but if you go to DaisyUI, so it's a Tailwind CSS based, very powerful front-end library. And if you go to maybe something like card, so these are the cards, all the classes different, the carousel, the chat bubble, collapse, and a lot of components are available. So it makes very good use case for Drupal to use DaisyUI for Tailwind CSS based themes where single directory components are in use. Okay. So for example, we want to use maybe this card component in Drupal. So luckily, if you go to the UI Suite module and so here design system implementations, so there are some themes which already have used these popular libraries and the single directory components within them using the UI Suite. So one of them is UI Suite Bootstrap. If you are a fan of Bootstrap, you can use this one. It's a very powerful theme, UI Suite Bootstrap, with the single directory components and the UI Suite things applied. But the one which interests us is UI Suite DaisyUI. So DaisyUI, this link is just the CSS version or the original page for DaisyUI, but this one is the Drupal implementation of, where it is, this one is the Drupal implementation of DaisyUI. So we will download it and install it. Okay, so UI Suite DaisyUI. This theme is built with UI Suite, and as I said, I'm not going to create any sub theme of it, because to save time I will be just directly adding code to it or using it. So there are 40 plus components with UI patterns too and single directory components. So this theme has 40 plus components in it and 30 plus utilities with UI styles. There is something called UI skins also, but we are not going to, we'll just give a small overview of what UI skins does. So let's install it, and this is the composer link to the UI suite DaisyUI module, theme, and I already have installed it. So if you go to the site we are on and appearance, so we have this theme installed already. If you are installing it, you will be prompted for some if you have not installed all the UI suite modules, they will be listed here. Requires UI patterns, UI styles block, UI icons form element, and UI icons for UI patterns. So these modules need to be installed before installing this DaisyUI theme. Clear? So we will just install and set as default. Now if you go to UI libraries and we go to styles, do you expect any difference now from the previous implementation? I think you will, because if I click on it, so you can see these are all the available styles for this theme, where UI styles.yml has all of these things already installed and even applied here on this page for you to test. So for example, if I go to the font size, so font sizing extra small is this base style, and then you have 9XL, which is like this. So what do you think, where would these styles have been defined?
In YML file?
Yeah, in the YML file of this particular theme.
Yes.
So if you go to the code base and the contrib themes, now we will come not go to the core, because this is a contrib theme, so we'll come to contrib and UI suite DaisyUI. So here there is a file which is the name of the theme .ui underscore styles.yml. So this is that page from where all those classes are coming. So you can see a lot of Tailwind CSS classes are here, maybe some 873 lines of code. Is this clear? So as I said in the previous one, this is spacing margin bottom, so it has all these values. Just imagine if you do it, you want to have it from Drupal previously in a paragraph page, so all of your fields would be pertaining to these values. So your paragraph will be a lot of fields, and look at the performance implications of those. But this module makes it, the UI styles makes it, all of these classes are available to us without creating fields. Is this clear? So if we now create a block here in this theme, so if you go to content, or maybe if we have that block now available on the site somewhere on the home page, this is that block. Sorry. I think that was available in the test block. This is what I was telling you previously. All of those classes are available, even applied here. Okay, so if I want to give background color to the block of this color, so we can give that and save. So you can see this block has now the background color of. Without this module, what would you do, Daniel? If I had to give some class to a particular block
Then we will have to override the strict file.
Good. So that is that initiative, UI Suite initiative we were discussing initially, because they have worked really hard doing all such things into manageable from the UI screens. Is this clear? Okay, now we will advance towards the usage of so what this theme does is, if you go to appearance and this theme, UI libraries and components, so by the way, we should hide this block now because it will be available everywhere. Okay, so these are all the components on the page, DaisyUI components. And why are we interested in it? Because this is Tailwind CSS based, and we personally at Drupak, we love using Tailwind CSS. So all of those components have been created already for us, and even their different variants are on the display. These are all the buttons, and this is something called list row, third column grows, and all these things. These are accordions. So if you have to design accordion, they already are there for us. Avatars, buttons, card, and this is the card component. So cards have different styles and designs. So let us examine what the card component does. This is the card component, okay? And where is this page coming from, by the way? Let me also, because these modules are a lot and you will get confused which module does which thing on the side. So if I come to UI libraries and components, so this is a library page for all available components on your in your theme or module or whatever. So this is coming from the UI Suite. I just search UI. So this is the UI patterns library. Where is UI patterns library? This module, UI patterns library. It actually shows you all of the components you have defined in your theme or module. If you come to the site in the folder, where are these components? These are lying in the components folder, in the theme components folder. So all of these components, you can imagine it can be time saver for you using these in your design. So if I have to use the card component, this is the card component. So the main only one file is the one which is related to the output, which is card.twig, and another one is .component.yml. So these two files, if I select them, this one and this one, these are actual files, the components, and the rest of these are the story.yml. So what are these story.yml doing? Actually, the page, the library page, if you go to the library page, again this one, so actually this is the default one. It is outputting the default links. This is the drawer, icons, and so on. So these are output by these sample pages. So for example, if I open the default.story.yml, before doing this, I will open card.twig. So this is the actual markup of the component. Okay, and the component.yml has the definition for these, just like we have already studied what component.yml does. So in patterns UI, there is a concept of variants also. What is a variant generally?
Different types,
Yeah.
different designs.
Different alterations of the same design. Maybe there are some slight changes. So what we can call them as variants. So there are these three types of variants. So default, side, and responsive, and then the slots. So what are slots? We already have studied slots. So it has three slots: image, title, text, and actions. The UI patterns module or the UI suite module basically changes the philosophy just a bit. They make everything, almost everything, as slots. Okay, I will now explain it what I mean by this. So the slots is all the variables on the in the twig file are normally slot. So image is a slot, title is a slot, text is a slot, and actions is a slot. Okay, and then we have props types. So props are normal props we give in single directory components, but here this is a heading level prop, but it has enums, and so this actually builds a form. I will show you what I mean. Just like the styles UI styles module, a form widget will be built from this enum. Then there is image bottom. This is type boolean. So what do you expect from this? If it is a boolean, what type of field widget will be shown here to the user? A checkbox, right? If it is again a boolean, so a checkbox. And similarly, I will show you what these mean. Then there is size also. So size is enum small. This just like the styles we have. The border is does it need to have a border? So all of these are then available. This is available in the site as a variable. This is available as a variable in the twig file. And similarly, slots are available as variables. Okay. So this is the, for example, we want to show this design, this card design default one, once a content type is saved. Now the use case is we need to have this design of the node once it is saved. So what I will do now normally for components, yeah, either paragraph type or node type or whatever. So once that is saved, we will have to link its twig file with the relevant component. Yes. Something like this we want to achieve. For this, let me just first create a content type. We already have content types, but for this demo we will call it what should we call it? Maybe cards. And it should have a title. A title is default, so it should have a media field. We already have these, so we can reuse them. And then the body field and the tags field also. Fields for tags. Clear? So body, media, image, and tags. So let us create a content of type cards. This is test title and maybe some dummy. Then the tags sports and
the content is too long,
and then we can have a, I hope you will love this chutney. So this is title, this is body, these are tags, and this is the image. Clear? Now I want to show this as a card rather than this display. Before doing this, I will go to the UI patterns documentation. If you go to the UI suite documentation, and here we have a link for, and this is by the way very informative. Where it is? I already had opened it somewhere. Patterns. You need to know what Drupal speak is in order to know all these things. So this is the UI patterns 2 documentation. You should thoroughly visit it. So it basically mentions 4 broad use cases of UI patterns. Okay, so if I ask you UI patterns blocks, what it would be doing? This one.
You should provide a pattern for the blocks layout.
Yeah, should provide a pattern for the blocks layout or blocks. Don't confuse it with the UI styles we did, it was just styles. But UI patterns block means that for the block layout or the layout builder, we should have blocks. UI patterns as blocks. So this is one use case. The next use case is UI patterns layout. So what UI patterns layouts use would mean? You can use single directory components as layouts.
So just like a layout builder.
Yeah, in the layout builder. So these are two. Second one, what is UI patterns field formatters? What are field formatters? First, let me know about what are field formatters. This is normal Drupal speak. So the way you should display a field, a single field in the manage display screen of a Drupal site, these are known as field formatters. So it also provides field formatters for integration with the field formatters. So these are the 3 use cases, and the fourth one is UI patterns views. So we are going to cover all these 4 in this presentation, and we will start with the UI patterns layouts. Okay, this one first. So we have created the content, this one. Now we want to display it in the, so I always say this to my students, without even using the module, they should know from the title of the module or the title of some concept what it should do. So UI patterns layouts, so what does this mean? I mean, without first even thinking how to change this, what should be my first instinct reading this? That there will be some integration of the UI patterns in the layouts. Okay, so blindly you can go to the manage display of that content type. So there will be something related to the UI patterns. Okay, so rather than jumping here and there, if you know the Drupal concepts or speak, you should know that something should be there related to this functionality. So we will go now to the structure, content types, manage display of cards. Okay, if I make it usable, use layout builder, what does this mean? The display of this content type will be taken over by the layout builder, and allow each content item to have its own layout. What does this mean? So that each node can have its own layout. It means for now we will not use this one, we can use it, but let us use layout builder only and save. So we have successfully enabled layout builder for this content type. Now the next step is we will click on manage layout. Let me zoom it out a bit. Okay, so first we can remove the default one. Okay, this is the blank screen, how I want my content type of cards to be displayed. I will add a section. This is very important, so just have your consideration here. So you know these are default layouts, the first 4. So we are not going to use these, but now you can see here are these things also. Table, card, where are these coming from? Any idea?
The DaisyUI.
These are the DaisyUI single directory components. So if I go to the extend screen again, there is a module which I already have enabled. That's why we are able to see these, and it is called UI pattern layout. This one, UI patterns layouts. So as I said, if you enable UI patterns layouts, it means it makes all the components of your theme or modules available to the layout system, this system. That's why these layouts are available. Here I will choose the card one. Card, where is card? photo hero. This is the card one, okay? This one. So we'll select this. Okay. You can always make it a bit bigger. Okay, so before applying anything, I will just go through the theory of what a single directory component in UI Suite is. So what do you think, where are these props values coming from? All of these dot component dot yml. So if we open it, the same card component, this is that component, and the this is a card dot component dot yml. So these are slots, image, title, text, and actions.
Yes.
These are variants, default, side, and responsive, and these are the props. So in the props, all of these values are there, and if we check which ones are these: image bottom, centered, image full, action stop, size, heading level, and so on. So these are, if we go to the, these are heading level, image, centered, image top, size, border, whatever, right?
Yes.
Clear? So all of these values are coming from that component.yml for that particular. And where is this coming from, the variant?
It's also coming from the.
It is also coming from this YML variants. So you can have some variants which will be also a drop down there. So you can choose which variant it is just by using this. Clear?
Yes.
Okay. What are attributes? I have been teaching you to remove the attributes key from the Twix because for simplicity reasons we wanted that, but here that attributes is available, and you should have attributes like class hidden, and it also says HTML attributes with double quoted values or a space separated list of HTML classes. So if I want to give some classes, class 1, class 2, class 3, and so on, so you can give those classes here in the attributes, and they will be available to the twig file as classes. So if you go to the .twig file, and on the top these are the attributes, so they will be added to these attributes. If you remove this, I will show you this is harmful. So you cannot use your component in layout builder then, because those edit icons will not be available. So you should not remove these attributes. Okay. The next step is, where are the slots? Slots are not visible here. Why? Slots are available here in the component.yml. These are slots. So image, title, text, and actions, but they are not available in this screen. So I will leave it here for now and just add section. By the way, we should rename our sections as something meaningful so that you can know what section is. Cart component section. Okay. So if you have to change props, again I repeat, if you have to change props, for example these values in the component.yml, these values props, so what should you do? All the time you will have to double check, click or click on this component section, and here you can change it. Okay. But if you have to add slots now, because your data to the component will come from the slots, so that is done inside the section. And if you can see, here are 4 blocks available already. So what do you think are these?
Image, title, description.
These are the slots actually. So your slots become the blocks in the section, the place where you should add the block. So this is a block, this and this. These are the places where you can place the blocks. So technically these are slots actually. So this is one slot, this is another, and this is your component becomes slots, and slots are defined in the .components.yml. So we don't know which slot it is. Do you agree? Because all of them are called blocks here. Maybe in the newer versions there will be the name of the slot, but if we can just, I will zoom this part of the screen here, the bottom of the screen. Just notice it. Okay, can you see at the end? You can see image.
Yes, sir.
So this is the image slot, which is defined in the these are the slots in the YML. So this is the image slot, this one. So whatever we add here, it will be image. If we add title, it will be title. So though they just show add block, but if you hover over it, and in the bottom you will see the name of the image. And similarly here you see the title, and this one is the text, and this one is the actions.
It's on the right.
Sorry, it's somewhere on the right. So if I just zoom it out now you know what are slots and what are these blocks doing and what individual block is. How to know? You will have to hover over any of the blocks, and in the bottom it will show up the name of that particular. So now this means this one is going to be a block, right? Sorry, image. So I will click on add block and search for image. So media image is the content type field. So we'll just choose it, and maybe we should hide the label. Okay, this is remove field markup. It is good if you have it. Normally this comes from the no markup module. If there are surrounding divs, so those are removed from it. So you can choose it and add block. Okay, I think it is showing. We should show the thumbnail, and thumbnail has a wide one. Upload. Okay, so this is the image. Next we have, this is the title. So the title should come from the content type title. Label should be hidden, and remove field markup and add. And then we have text, the body field. Label should be hidden, remove field markup. Okay, one thing, the block styles are also available here. If you want to add some styles from the UI.styles, so those are also available. Look at the power of all this. But we will not add any classes right now, just the default stuff. Okay, the formatter should be, because this is a card, we should only show a trimmed version of maybe 300 characters or 400 characters or whatever. This is default Drupal, not an add block. So this also has been added. Now the last one is what? Tags. And I will first add it default and then use the no markup, so that you know why we were adding that no markup stuff. So I will add blocks. So these are tags actually. Initially I will just leave them default like this, and that separator is this one and add block. But now you will change it to something else in a while and save. So now we have made, or we have asked Drupal to show the cards content type in a layout governed by the card content type. Sorry, the card single directory component. So if you go to content now, this is a test title, this is the cards, and we have this. Why is it not showing in the, and this is by the way on purpose, why is it not showing in the design we have chosen? So if I go to appearance and UI libraries, components, and card, this is the card one, and I think we wanted to show it like this, right? but the button will be different because we will be using badges in a while. So if I inspect it and go to the top one, this is BG base 100 W96 shadow SM. So these three classes need to be added to the wrapper, these three. Okay, W96 means the width of the card,
Yes, sir.
and this is the shadow class, and this is the background class. So where will we go again so that we can add those classes? Manage display of that content type again. Manage display, and then the manage layout, and edit the section, and these are the attributes where those classes will have to go. Shadow SM, W96 and BG this. Clear?
Yes, sir.
And update and save layout. If I refresh the page, so now it is visible more or less in the same design, even the borders and the shadows. But now these sports and entertainment, they should have, if you come to the badges in the appearance, UI patterns, components, there is the this badge component, and the badges are something like this. We want to show them in this style. These are
Yes, sir.
these links. So any component has its metadata fetched from the component.yml. So you can use these variables to print something like this. Let us give it Excel size, and this one is maybe, or this one. These are the different names of the variants or maybe the classes. Okay, so one of these will be chosen for us. But my question is, if this is a component, if this badge is a component, this badge is a component, and if I come here to the design we have right now, this one. So this is in Drupal, this is a field, this is a title field, this is body field, this is the image field. This is the text field. Do you agree?
Yes, sir. Yes.
This is the text field, and in the text, this is individual. There are two more fields, references. So this is one, and this is the second one. But this is a separate badge component. Just from your, basically, I'm wanting to know your psychology for Drupal. So if I come to the badge component, this is the badge component. So if we have to show individual item of a field in this badge component, what should we do? This is what you asked yesterday as well. So what I want to achieve always in programming or in Drupal or whatever, you should know what you are doing. We want to display each item of a field in a component.
Yes.
Each item of a field in a component. This is whole component, but here we want to display this item as well as this item in a component of its own, right?
Yes, sir.
And that's what the second element of that documentation, if we come. So we have already done this. The whole layout has been changed for the content type, but this one, UI patterns field formatters. What does this mean? That each field individually can have a component also,
Yes.
and then each field item can have a component also. These are two things again, two separate things again. Okay, the whole field can have a component, or the individual item of a field can have a component. So this is being done by this field UI patterns field formatters. And if you go to the extend screen, extend again, what was it? Field, or just if you check UI. So this module, UI patterns field formatters. So this module does that thing for us. So we already have enabled it. So I will go back to the manage display screen. This is, you should know what we are doing. This is one rule which I always say, you should know what we are doing. No tukka. So if we go to the manage layout again and we come here, okay, I will click on the that's tags field. I will click on it and configure. So previously it was displayed as the formatter was label. This is normal Drupal stuff. But now we will choose again, as I said, component UI pattern. So each field will have a component or component per item. Please let me know which one should we use. Per item, because each item should have that badge displayed. So you should, I mean, Drupal is so natural to developers or so natural for the users. You should know what you are doing. That's my point actually. So here we'll choose component per item, and which component? The badge one. This is the badge component, right? So here, if this is that information, where is this coming from? The badge components dot YML file, component dot YML file. So if you come here, and this is the badge component dot YML. So here these are the variants. You can see what variants are. So variants, primary, secondary, tertiary, वगैरह. So we'll choose maybe accent or neutral or secondary. Let us choose secondary. So the variant will be, okay, this is very powerful stuff. Even the source can be something. So it can be some data coming from a field or so on, but we will choose the variant directly from that enums. So it is secondary. So you can choose the source as field or anything else, but if you choose the second one, so the values should be coming directly from the YML definitions or these values. Okay. So we'll choose badge component and the source is secondary. Then the props. So in the props you can choose other stuff also, the sizes and all that. Maybe medium size. And remove. Oh, okay, I don't check the remove field markup now. Okay, I will show you why we need it. So for now I will just update it, but the data still is not coming. So I will configure it again. We chose the badge, the slots. Okay, the slot has a label, and one thing, this why have they chosen slots for everything? Slot can have sub slots or any render arrays within it, the slots. So if I come to the YML file again, for your concepts, when you are practicing it, you should be going and switching towards the component.yml file and the GUI screen, okay, so that you know what actually you are getting these values from. So if I check the slot, so slot has just one label. Okay, so here if you can see, the slot has just one this label field. So what the source of this slot will be? It will be, like as I said, other things, but we'll choose field formatter. The field formatter of these tags. So field formatter, and the field formatter will be, and the formatter will be label. So label is the referenced entity name. So we'll choose field formatter inside the slot settings, and then the label formatter is label. And if you don't know these Drupal terms, please revise those. Okay, so what a label is, what entity ID is, and so on. And I will just update and save. So if I refresh the page now, you can see sports and entertainment are now coming. Individual item of a field is being rendered by the component, the badge component. Okay, so this is why are these showing stacked rather than in one line. If we inspect the if we inspect the field, so you can see these are those divs which are
We
making
manage
the problem
parent
for us, creating the
files.
problem for us. We should remove these divs, and that's where no markup module comes in, where we already have installed that. I will open no markup for you. So this is that no markup module, because Drupal by default for some reasons add markup to any field output. So this module removes those extra divs. So I will go back to the manage layout, configure the field, this one, configure, and here we'll just check the remove field markup. And by the way, there is separator also. We don't need separator between two items of a field, and update and save. Now if I refresh the page, hopefully both of these will be in the same line. Is this clear? Okay, so in general also, and with layout suite modules, we can have one component and then sub components also. So this is the whole component for card now, but this portion is coming from the badge component. Okay, so how was this made able? Because of the formatter, UI patterns formatter module, field formatter module, right? Clear? Okay, so this part of the documentation is I think over. So we have covered UI patterns and UI patterns field formatters modules. Clear? You should know what these two do. The next is UI patterns blocks module. So we already have touched it, but we just touched the UI styles, not this. So we need to cover this before moving forward. So what do you think UI patterns blocks will be doing?
It can provide your patterns for the block and block layouts.
For block and
Block layouts.
yes, good. And their corresponding module for this is, which one it is? UI patterns blocks, this one. Okay, UI patterns blocks. So if we come to the site right now, one of them, these are all the modules, and we have something called let's do it the 2 column regions, grid 2 regions, and it has a lot of, I think if you want to study how all of this works, these 4 components are very powerful. If I scroll to the top, and those of you who are very good in Tailwind CSS, you should know what they are doing. So this is 2 column grid, 3 column, 4 column, and this grid calls, this is using grid CSS for creating columns. And if I go to grid 2 regions, this one, and in the code you have all of these available as well. These are the components. So these are grid 1 region, 2 regions, 3 and 4. So this is grid 2 regions. It has just 3 files, no story in fact. But if I come to the component.yml, so you can see it has 2 slots, call first and call second. Okay, just 2 slots, and the rest of these are settings for different classes: background position, repeat, gap to excel. All of these are CSS classes which it adds to the setting form, and there are a lot of them. So you can control the grid position, order, and all of this gapping with these. And for all the different sizing, as well as mobile and tablet, it is clear. So now I want to have a block of text, two column text on my site. For example, I go to block layout. On the home page, I want to have a two column. Where is the home page? I want to have two column text on the site. So what I should do? A block of two columns.
Yes, sir. Create a block of two columns.
Yes.
Create a block, and then we have go to the manage display, and the layout, then you have to create.
So this module UI patterns blocks, it lets us use a component as a block. This is very, very powerful. A component as a block. So if I go to structure, block layout, and I will just place a block somewhere. Okay, let me just demonstrate block region so you know where we are. Maybe in the navbar region here somewhere, or in the sidebar region or content region. This is a strange theme, but still in the navbar center we want to have two columns of text. What should we do? First, let us create two block types quickly. So structure, block types, add block type. Normally I will call it text only. So it has a body, that's it. Okay, and then I will create a block, block types, image only, and in the image only I don't need any body, but I will delete it. So I will delete it, and I will add a field, and we already have a field. I think we don't have it, so we'll create a media image field. So now we have two block types, extra block types. One is text only and one is image only. Now I want to structure, block layout. In the nav bar center, this is that. Here I want to place a block. So place block, which one? Great. So you can see what this module does is UI patterns blocks. It makes all your components available as blocks. Your components as blocks. So here we will choose grid 2 column region. That's it. So this is first column and this is second column. Clear? So now we can place anything in these two because these are slots, and you can give background sizes, colors, positions, even the gaps, and then what are the grid template columns. If you know what Tailwind CSS grid does, so grid template columns to Excel, MD, spans, mobile first, how much should be the span of the mobile, and so on. Clear? So all of these settings are coming from the props defined in the component.yml. So if this is going to be first column, these are the values you can use. In the token you can use anything. So in the token, and if you have token module installed, you can get values from it also. So here I will just create some text here and paste, and similarly in the second one I will choose token and some text here also, and save block. So it is in the grid 2 region, navbar center region, save. So you can have hard coded values in the form of tokens.
Both are placed in first column.
Okay, maybe that was the reason. You can configure your block anytime. And let us also change the region for. So this is first. And this is the second one. Thank you, Afaq, for pointing it out. This is the second one. And let us change the region, which is, let us make it content and save block.
It's two columns.
So this is, I think, the block. Okay, it is showing on in 2 columns now. If you examine the markup, let us give it some background color also. So if we know this is the block, if it works, hopefully. So background image, is there any background color? I think no. So you can add it yourself also, but we do have the setting for block styles. So the color should be, background color should be some gray, or maybe this one, blue one is fine. So that's the use case of UI styles. I mean, how powerful it is. You are using your component.yml for the component itself. There was no class, we didn't need it, because we already had UI styles. So now the whole block is getting the background color. Okay, so if you know what is called spanning in Tailwind, this is great, or in generally, so you can add all those values here and they'll take effect. Is this clear? So hard coded text values are in 2 columns, but you can also, because the source is important, so this is token, but if we change it to something else, for example component, and then you can have some other component coming as well. And in the block, if we quickly create, I will leave this screen here. If we quickly create a content, blocks, add content block, which one? Text only, and I will make it about us, and this is maybe we can make it bold and something else. So this is the about us section, block, text only, right? Save. I just created the block, and then I will upload an image which is a separate block, image of about us. So maybe this chutney, and save. So we have added 2 blocks now. Here if I refresh the page, rather than the tokens going to the first column and second column slots, what we will choose in order to use these blocks? Blocks. So this is going to be block. So which block? About us, is it somewhere? Okay, this is about us. So about us block will be chosen, and this is the second one, should have block also, and it will be about us, image of about us, and save. Clear? So now this is the text and this is the image. Is this clear?
Yes.
Just compare it. If we are not doing it, I mean, if we had to do it before UI Suite, so what would we do? A lot of stuff. But now you are just using components as regions, and there you are putting even blocks inside it. Clear? Why do we have extra add stuff here? Because we can add other blocks also in regions. So if I configure it, in the first call, for example, you can see here again the drop down is, because we can add other blocks also in just one region. And this slot thing in the YML, these, because slots can have anything inside it. Okay, we are not specifying it to be either text or integer or whatever, so you can have anything here or here. It makes it so very powerful. Clear? Now a question to you guys. Back to side. I want to have, because this is very close to the background, I want to have give it some padding. What should I do? Which part of UI Suite I should use? I want to give padding to this whole block. We should have some padding to the whole, because we have used UI styles module, and padding already has been defined for it, so we can easily go to configure block, just like we have added the background color. So in the block styles, maybe in the padding spacing, this one padding is this, so we should have it for P4. So you can see there is some padding now, or maybe even further if you can improve it. Mm-hmm. 32 is fine. Okay, one more thing, let us test if the text colors are working. So it should be white. Got it?
Yes.
Okay. Is this clear?
Yes.
So if you are using paragraphs, you can just relate all these changes there as well. Okay, if you you will go to any of the paragraph manage displays, and you can create different versions, and then if you use them, they will be of the same layout. Okay, now the last element of this is the views. And as I said, even there are people in the Drupal community only because of the reasons that views exist in Drupal. So how can somebody like these guys of the UI suite ignore the UI patterns, in the UI patterns, the views module? So again, some very powerful things are can be done here. For example, I have a content type and I want to display you have a page where you want to display the top 3 items as hero images. That's the requirement, for example. Okay, you want to display the actually we took a break and now we are back. So we want to show hero images, hero designs as in a view, and maybe the top 3 items of the view we want to show as hero images. So if you go to how do you know that which components you have? Either you will have to go to the code, but in order to know how do they look, so you can always come to the appearance and UI libraries, components, and here you can know which components you have. I think we should disable this block for now, as it is appearing on all the pages. Okay, so here if we search for hero, this one is the hero, and these are some designs. This one is the hero, and this one, and so on. So for example, this is the one we want our the card we have added right now, this one. So any view we add, any extra items, we want the top 3 of them to be shown on a page as these heroes. Where it is, this one. Okay, so what it is, this is the title, this is description, and the link, and the link will be some badge or whatever, the tag actually. But we want this design. So if we create a view, normally what we can do is we can create a view, we'll call it card hero heroes or whatever. So content of type cards and save, and the page will be, we'll add a page actually, the path should be /heroes. So what do we actually need? Title and body trimmed as maybe 300 characters or 600 is fine, okay, and then the tag. Tags, and then we have the image, media image. You can have a very wide image also. So save. If I go to the page, so this is the first article. If we add more articles, just for testing, let us add a few more. This is second one, and then we can have some dummy content. Tags is sports. And let us add another one also. Sorry, it's going to be cards. So we have 3 articles now, and if I refresh the page, so these are the 3 articles. Now we want all of these to be shown as this, where it is, these are heroes, okay, or maybe like this style, whatever you choose. So I will go to the view. Where is that view? This one. And the unformatted list, or let's do it in 2 ways. First, I will leave it as unformatted list. The style will be unformatted list, but in the fields I will choose UI patterns and apply. And which UI pattern? It should be hero. This is the hero. Okay, before coming here, as I said, in order to learn things, we should frequently visit the YML files, so that we know what things are there, even what are the if conditions and so on. So if you go to the components and then the hero component, where is this is one, okay. So here we have, this is the hero.twig file, and this is the component.ym. So the components are, the slots are a site, title, text, and button. Okay, and then you can give the heading levels, the reverse, the order, the centered, responsive, centered, overlay image, title overlay image, and ref is URL, the image URL overlay. So all of these settings can be chosen by us. If you come to the library, this one, so hero with overlay image, the type is hero with overlay image. So what it expects, if we come to the .tick file here, so let us if overlay image, this is that condition, if it is there, so the classes are added, background image is URL, and you can see the overlay image is going to be the URL of the image URL, not the image itself.
Yes, sir.
That's what I wanted to show you. If it is an overlay, it expects a
Image
URL rather than this. So in the view here, the media image has the formatter as thumbnail.
Select the thumbnail URL.
What should we do so that we have the thumbnail URL also?
We have to download the module.
Thumbnail URL module.
formatter.
Thumbnail URL module. URL formatter. Again, if you don't know the Drupal speak, you don't know what this module will be doing. But the thumbnail URL formatter means a media image thumbnail should have a URL formatter. That's it. So we will install it. We'll enable it via trash, and if we refresh the page now, I'll cancel it, and the image URL, this one, it should have a thumbnail URL now, and the wide image is fine, and apply. You click on the component UI setting again. Notice one thing, we've chosen the unformatted list for the style, and then the show type of the fields will be component UI patterns. So here we will choose the component UI patterns and apply, and in the settings, the slots we have are, we'll choose first the name of the component. So they are a site, title, text, and button, and if you go to the corresponding YML file again, so these slots are here, site, title, text, and button. So in the title, we don't need a site for now. The title will come from view field, which we have chosen, which is the title. The text should come from the view field as well, which is body, and the button should come from view field tags. We may alter this, but for now it's okay. And then for the background field, this is a bit different, and as if you go to the .tick file, and the if overlay image, the way it is being set is background image URL is this. So it means the overlay image should be a URL. So rather than, we don't have the settings for view field in props, so what we can do is we can do it a bit differently. So the value should go from here, the input needs to be some URL to image, but it should be dynamic. So what we can choose is, rather than, we don't see any view field here, so we can choose data from a field, and that field should be the node field we have which is media image. And the way media image field works, you should know the connection between a media and how it actually displays the. I will halt the progress here, and I will go to another tab on our site somewhere. So if I go to structure, media types, these are all the media types. This is a separate entity, and if you create a field in a content type to a media image, what this means, the connection is between the media entity type and the content entity type, and then each media has a reference to the image it has created. So you don't have direct reference to the image from content type. It is first the media and then the image. So something like this we will have to do in. So here we have chosen the node field for media image. So the source should be reference entities. The reference entities has an image field, image bundle actually. This is a bundle, and it has now data from the field, and the field has a URI. This should be a structure. Rather than choosing the view field, you will have to have this structure and apply. And if we now save it, so you can see the heroes are there, and with the background images. All of these are the background images for the heroes.
Yes, sir.
If you go to the designs here, this one, for example, so we have this one as well, hero with figure but reverse order, hero with figure with this. So if I want to make it like this one, so what's the hero with figure? So let us try if we can change it to this. We'll go to the view again, and in the settings, the component is this, that the aside this one. So maybe we can choose the view field here, and that field should be field media field image, and apply. The site now has a value, and we will change this back to thumbnail for now, and apply. And the thumbnail should have some normal size of maybe medium, and save.
Yes.
So you can see we have that aside taking effect, and a lot of, even I am knowing new things during this demo, still the background image is taking effect.
Yes, sir.
Once the background image is being used as the background image, and then it is being used as an aside also. And if I need to change this, what should I do is I will edit it, and maybe I will remove the setting for the background image, which is from here, overlay image. You can just make it nothing. So now this is just that.
Yes, sir.
Your primary role as a Drupal themer is you will just create some powerful single directory components added via UI Suite Patterns UI, and then it will be just a few clicks. Changes to the design will take place through clicks. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
So if I go back to the documentation, and so we have studied UI patterns blocks, layouts, field formatters, and views. There is one more set way we can use the UI patterns views module, and I will change all of this, or let us create a new view. Views, add new view, cards view. So I want all the cards to be shown in some grid layout, and it's cards dash view. Okay, right now if I just save this view, default view, and go to the page, this one, so this is how it is showing. Okay, cards view, but I want it to be shown in a grid. And which grid? If you come to the appearance of your side components, and we have in the grid section these 1 column, 2 column, 3 column, 4 column grids, but then there is this grid calls also, a dynamic grid system, grid calls, this one. In this format we want to show it so that the view is in the form of a grid. So as you know, we have made this is again your Drupal concept question. Right now we are showing fields. Sorry, this is not the view. Where is the view? Cards with this one. We are showing, these are not showing in cards. How can I make this show in the cards? Do you remember we changed the cards manage display to a card layout component, right? So if I just change it to this content to default, now each row will show up in the card system, but here it is not taking effect. If I save it and go to the page, you can see each row is showing in a card, but this is not in grid. Why? This is just the card because we had changed individual node to be shown as a card item. That's it. Now we want all of this to be shown as a grid item.
Yes, sir.
So that's where we will make changes now. Sorry, where is the view? This is the view. Okay, so in this case, rather than choosing unformatted list, we will choose components UI. So the whole view is now a component, and all the items will be inside it. So the component is UI patterns, and which component to choose?
Grid.
The grid. This one, the grid calls, the last one. Okay, if you come to the grid calls and grid component, so it has just one slot which is items. That's it.
Yes, sir.
And that's how we have a setting for the items here. These are items. So where should these items come from? Each individual item should come from
Props.
views row. So whatever is the view row, make it individual item for the, that's it. So this is very important setting. Views row should be the value, and that's all we need. Now you can, those who are familiar with the grid system for Tailwind, they should know what all these values are doing. So how much should be your 2XL grid? So we can choose what should be 2XL grid, maybe 4 columns, and the Excel should be also 4 columns, or maybe in Excel it is 3 columns, in large it is 3 columns, on mobile it should be 2 columns, and in grid it should be, in small it should be 1 column. 4 column, maybe 3 here is fine too. And then the gaps also, you can specify different gaps and so on. Clear? Apply and save. Now if we refresh the page, hopefully there will be some changes. Where was that page? This one. So it is in 3 columns now. Clear?
Yes.
And if we change screens, mobile, and there are a few problems with it, but that is because of the wrapper class we have given W-96.
Yes, sir.
So you can have some different style and it all will be dynamic. So you can make grids in views like this. Each item has its own component and the whole view is a separate component. Clear?
Yes.
And there are numerous possibilities with this. All depends upon your designs or Figma designs and all that. Okay, one more element, important element which we missed, and that is if you go to the extend screen, I think we have covered all these elements of the documentation, but just a few things these 4 elements we have covered, but a few things we need to do now. So if you go to the extend screen and I just type UI, so you will see some icons related stuff, UI icons picker, UI icons media, UI icons library, and so on. So if I come to appearance, UI libraries, so here these icons will appear and you can install it without UI suite also, but if I click on icons, so these are different types of icons available on the system right now which we can use. In the icons, how were they installed? This is a bit confusing, but if I search for icons, so first you will have to install the icons icons provider, and then some of these icons, UI icons form element, UI icons for UI patterns. So UI patterns also can have icons, and UI icons for menu, and UI icons library. That link is from this module, and UI icons picker will show how it works. Also, if you want to have a field, some links with the content type, paragraph type, or something like this with a field of icons, so you can install the UI icons fields module. And similarly, if you want to have link attributes, a link to be shown as an icon, so you should install this module also. So now with the help of all this, if you come to structure, menus, add menu, or sorry, in the main navigation, if I edit a link and I just add a new link, so go to Apple website, for example, is the link http apple.com, and here in the link icon, this UI menu link module actually provides this link icon. So if I choose for something like food apple, that's it. And then each icon has its settings also. So maybe if the color is some blue color or yellow color or whatever, so we can choose that, and even the rotation, and there are settings for this also. So in the display, should we have it with the before or after or icon only? So this is also possible, and we will save it. Now if I go to content or maybe the back of the site, and this you can see there is a link which is just Apple, and it will go to the apple.com screen. Similarly, you can have a link field. So in the content types, all this applies to paragraphs also and other content entity types. So if in the blog or maybe in the cards we have a separate link, if we create a new field, and we will make it icon field, this one, and this is the definition icon. Okay, so which allowed packs are available? Allowed icon packs, so these are the ones we have enabled, so you can have all of these, click and save icons. Now if I add a new card, or maybe let us edit one, so you can just click for some icon, and this is the icon, and save. Sorry, it is not showing right now, but we have created a icon field. But even best will be if I delete this icon field, because it makes no sense, just an icon field, unless it is a requirement for you. So I will delete the field icon, and maybe in another content type like basic page, we will add a new field, link field actually. Where is link field? This one, and we'll call it link. Or icon underscore link. Okay, so if I add some content now in the basic page, here I need to have some setting for icons. So let me test your Drupal knowledge. How can I have it so that I can choose icon also? Where should I change settings?
Manage form display.
Good, manage form display. So if you go to the content types of basic pages, manage form display, and in the link you will have these options: link with attributes, link icon with attributes. So link icon is enough, I think, and it will also ask you which types of packs you need for icons, and all of these icon allow icon display position selection and update. Save. So you go to content, add content, and basic page, test link. So here now you have, if you need some link to go to this link text is go to node 2. So you can choose icons here, maybe Apple, and link display it's after or before, something like this. But we can choose just the, or let us choose after, and save. So you can see this is now a link. Go to the title also, and we have icon also, and you can create a view of all icons. You might have seen it on front pages or landing pages with icons and then some text written with it. So this is also very powerful. This is just native icons, but you can have a lot of patterns UI based icons settings. So icon, if I choose this, so you can see UI icons for UI patterns. Even a pattern can have an icon with it, and you can try these things. But I'm very happy we have covered a lot of things related to patterns UI and the way you should move forward with your front-end styling. One great news is these guys are also building a display builder also, something very powerful, more powerful than what we have right now, which is layout builder. And interestingly, the technology which I love these days, HTMX, and it is HTMX based also. They already have a presentation about that also, so very soon, and I will be very happy if our team also can contribute to any of these aspects. They should contact us, and hopefully we have a very strong team, and we will be very happy contributing to the UI suite as well. So I hope all of this was very informational. See you in the next class.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.